It's so good to have you join us
Thank you
today.
for having me.
One of the things that makes me very excited to have you here is that your legacy. I mean, we all remember Bongos Ikwue, yeah? Yes, that's her daughter. Just in case you didn't know, say yeah, you're welcome. Welcome to the studio again.
Thank
So,
you.
we're celebrating World Music Day. First of all, let me ask you, what does music mean to you? You would have your response because you're an artist. So let me just know what it is.
Hi, music is everything. I can't imagine a world without music.
Wow.
I feel like the world would be just void, empty, sad, silent.
Mm.
Like we need music for everything. We play music. Have you ever been to an event
And there
and
was
there's
no
no music?
music and
Have you
it
ever
wasn't
watched a movie?
without
Have
music.
you you're watching a football game, they're singing the national anthem at the beginning. It just adds flavor to everything. It's a spice of life, really.
I agree. I agree. It's the spice of. I mean, if you're sad, music can make you happy. If you're in the mood, music can get you out of it. So I totally agree. But it's World Music Day. Every artist is excited at the opportunity that they get to celebrate them. But let me get your opinion on why you think is very, very important to have this day celebrated every year.
Well, personally, as an artist, it makes me feel like I'm important. Like my work is important. Um, Teachers are celebrated, doctors are celebrated, every profession is celebrated, and sometimes as creatives, we feel like we're not
Celebrated.
as taken as seriously as these other professions. So it's just good to have one day
Where
for
everyone says,
us,
hey, let's
yes,
just
for
listen to
music,
music.
yes.
So I did mention earlier that your legacy. So let's talk about, are you singing because it just feels like everyone whose father or mother used to sing somehow maybe one or two of the children told the same line. So is that the same story for you? So how
Zero
did you
in
start
one.
singing?
I didn't even want to,
Oh wow.
because my personality is very like reserved. I just felt like a contradiction because as an artist you have to be out there,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I just didn't want to be out there. But you know, when you know that something is inside of you somehow, yeah,
And it keeps calling.
you're just restless if you don't do it. So
Yeah.
I had to do it. Yeah.
So share with me maybe a memorable experience in your music career. I mean, how long have you been doing this professionally now?
This is year 11
Yeah,
for me.
11. Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
So there has to be a lot of stories in this
Yeah.
11. So share one with
Oh
me.
my gosh.
Maybe a performance, a collaboration, something.
Wow. Or something dramatic, something.
And I'll take anyone.
Okay, the first time I ever performed live was an event in Abuja called
Okay.
Acoustic Night.
Right.
And they had really big artists like Timida Kolo and Maomi and just a lot of big artists. And I was on the lineup and I had no experience on stage. I had just released my first single and I remember being so nervous. I don't drink any alcohol. And my sister gave me a shot of because I was
To
shaking.
calm your
So
nerves.
she was like, "You're not going to be able to hold the microphone with the way that you're shaking." So it helped, but
It did
like
help.
it did help. But I will never forget how I think that day I was like, I'm quitting music today because I can't handle this type
Was
of.
it a bad performance?
It wasn't great. It was okay, but like every time I think about how scared I was like, this cannot be life. You can't be so scared to do something that you love.
Yeah.
But obviously, like I don't feel the same way anymore. But yeah, it's just something I've never forgotten about.
So, in this 11-year journey, there must have been some challenges. I don't want to count this one as one of them because at least, even though it was with alcohol, your sister helped you overcome
Yeah.
it some way. So, let's talk about some challenges that you encounter as an artist and how you're able to get yourself back on track. Because I feel like as a creative, there are times you tell yourself, who sent me? Like, how did I get into this? But somehow, because you love it, you keep going. So,
Yeah.
let's talk about
I
that
ask myself that question every
every
time
day.
because I mean I have a degree, I have a master's, and
Not in music.
not in music. I sent myself on this mission, or God sent me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do ask that question a lot, and because of the genre that I do, it's even more challenging. I don't do Afrobeats, right? So, it's harder to get work. It's it's a niche market, right? So your people are just they're calling you once in a while, in terms of performances and things like that. I feel like feeling valued has been a bit of a
You're right.
but
Acceptance.
acceptance. It's taken a while. It's still I still have my moments where I'm just like, they don't rate me in this
Industry.
but I know that I'm doing it for the right reasons, so we have to stick with it and keep trucking.
I'm glad you mentioned genre. I want to talk about your own genre of music. What is it called? Because I remember one time calling you asking, because I thought it was alternate sound already, and you were like, no. Yeah, so let's talk about your genre of music.
Right. So anything that is not commercial in Nigeria, they call it alternative music.
Right.
But I don't want to put myself in that box because it really doesn't, to me, it's not specific enough. So I just say I'm a soul singer. The core of my music is soul, but then it's a fusion of different sounds. So Afro soul, jazz and soul, neo soul, blues. It's yeah, but the core of my sound is soul.
So how did your dad's music affect you as an artist? Maybe in your lyrics, in your style,
Yeah.
vocals.
He was very philosophical in his writing. He had his lyrical content was always had a strong message, very important message, and I think that influenced me in a way that I can't just write about nothing. There always has to be something there, some depth, an interesting story, an experience. So I think in terms of lyrical content, it was a big influence for me. It's like poetry with rhythm and melody.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree because it did sound like poetry when you were singing a while ago. But you said the first time you performed on stage, it was a live performance. I want to talk about live performances. How are you able? I mean, that was maybe that was about 10, 11 years ago when that happened. So this is 11 years after. How are you now able to manage live performance and connect with your fans?
I love it, and I think it was the legendary Joke Silva. I had her mentoring some of the students in Project Fame, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think one of the performers was very nervous, and she told the person, "You have to remove yourself from the equation. It's not about you. Think about the people that have come to see you. If you are nervous, they become nervous. If they see you shaking and uncomfortable, they're not going to have a good time. But if you're on stage and you're having a good time, they're going to have a good time as well. So you have to take yourself out of it and just think about this guy. Even if it's just for 5 minutes, remove yourself from, or just imagine everyone in the audience is naked."
Okay, so your style of music, how have you been able to use it as a tool to create social change? I saw a song you posted once, something about, it had to do with, was it child molestation? It was like a story of a girl that was raped.
Yeah.
It was a collaboration between you and someone from another African country. Yes. So let's talk about how you're able to use your music as a tool to create social change.
Try my best, because these things happen in real life, and we are the voice for the people, the voice for the voiceless, like they say. So anytime I know of an experience that is important to talk about, I have a song called Mr. Macho Man that is about a macho man that was using his muscles to beat his wife instead of, protect her. And the message is basically to make any man that beats his wife feel guilty and have a conscience.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm trying my best to do more social change songs, and because there's more to life than thinking about relationships and broken hearts. And there's so many things we can write about. Yeah.
So have you done collaborations? You mentioned some big artists that were in the lineup when you had to perform. Have you done any collaborations, album really? You've not done any collaborations?
No collaborations yet.
Why is that?
Because when you first start, you don't have money. You don't.
It's been 11 years.
You don't know these guys like that, and I'm not sure yet if they would even be interested. You're still trying to figure out the scene in the beginning, and I've only released one album so far.
Okay.
So now
what's the title of that album?
Broken to Peace.
Okay.
Not Pieces.
Okay, Broken to Peace.
Yeah.
All right.
Now I am working on my second album, so maybe
you collaborate yourself.
maybe.
Okay.